What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Locks DFS NHL Breakdown. I'm your host, Narang, and I'll be breaking down this 10-game main slate on DraftKings and FanDuel for Tuesday, March 5th. But before I get into that, though, if you guys could go ahead and leave a like and comment on this video, not only would it mean a lot for me and as far as getting more eyes and traction on this video, but you will be entered into winning a free season pass of your choice. As always, you guys know we run that same giveaway every week where we like to give back to our most active viewers, members, watchers, basically the people who just leave positive comments, constructive criticism. We like to give them a little thank you, token of our appreciation for watching. So go ahead and do that. And with that being said, let's jump into the slate. So haven't made one of these videos in a couple of days because we had Sunday. Obviously, I just take Sundays off because the slate is usually very, very small, and beat reporters with hockey are just bad on Sundays. And then Monday we had a 2-game slate, which was gross because both those games were toss-ups, as you guys saw. They panned out. Both the underdogs won, Edmonton and Toronto on the road. Just a weird 2-game slate. I took it off personally. I provided content for it, but didn't play it myself. Just can't subject yourself to that kind of variance. But this 10-game slate, way better. So let's jump into it, starting with the high-price centers. There's a couple guys I really would like to talk about in this game. Sorry, not in this game, on the slate. And the first guy is Nathan MacKinnon. I know you guys think I always talk about Nathan MacKinnon, but rightfully so. Anytime he's at home and got a good matchup, I have to mention him. He's got a great matchup versus the Detroit team that is 9th in the league in expected goals against per 60. And I believe 8th or 9th in the league in high danger chances against per 60 over the last 10 games. And I like this Colorado 1 line. This entire line, McKinnon, Rantanen, and Kerfoot. I think Kerfoot allows you to make a full stack of this line for cheaper than it would be if Landeskog was up there. But we'll get into him. I love McKinnon. He's going to drive this offense. Correlates beautifully on the first unit power play with the same big dogs as always. Not too much to say on. He is my favorite option if you're paying up at center. But another option I like a decent amount is Tyler Seguin here at 7.1K. Haven't talked much about Tyler Seguin, but he's a guy who, for the past 5 years, has always led the league, or has always been in the top 3, top 5 in iCourse 4 per 60. He shoots the puck a ton, and he's playing on this first line without Alexander Radulov, without Jamie Benn. He's playing with Roope Hintz and Valerie Niskanen. So it goes without saying that he's going to be the primary shooter of this line. He's going to be doing extra offensively. And I love his spot versus the Rangers, a team we've been picking on for a while now. As you guys can see, they're second in the league, high danger chances against per 60 the last 10 games. And on top of that, they have a horrible penalty kill at 26th in the league, tied with Detroit, which is another reason we really like Nathan MacKinnon. So a great spot for both these high-priced centers. And if you want to come down a little bit, a guy I like is Brock Nelson at 5.6K. As I was showing you guys with the high danger chances against per 60, Ottawa ranking 3rd worst over the last 10 games, which is just a given considering they traded away like all their good players and the rest of them are hurt. So I love the spot for this Islanders team. They're projected at a real high 4.1. Now dropped to 3.9 with a little bit of reverse line movement. We'll get into why, because I do think this game makes for a real nice game stack, as well as the Colorado game. Colorado obviously with a team total of 4. But with that being said, Brock Nelson skating on that first line with Anders Lee. I love them both for a little bit of a correlation play, because they correlate on that first unit power play as well. With Jordan Eberle as well. So you can full stack that line. It gives you great exposure to a really talented line and a great matchup. Like that a lot. So with that being said, let's move on to winger. And I was really going to skip over this high price of winger just to get down into sort of like this mid-price range where I feel like there's a lot of value to talk about. So I'll spend more time here than at the high price guys. So starting at 5.3K, the guy I just mentioned, Anders Lee, to pair with Brock Nelson. I like him a ton. As you guys can see, he's second on the Islanders in iCourse 4 per 60 at just above 14. So he is the sort of the primary shooter. The other guy was Johnny Boychuk leading him, who's a defenseman. So he is the offensive player that shoots the most for the Islanders. And as I said, he correlates really, really well with Brock Nelson on that power play 1 and at 5v5. Not going to talk too much about him because it's basically all the same reasons as Brock Nelson. Coming down a little farther, though, another guy that I said I would touch on and didn't was Alexander Kerfoot at 4.3K. Again, not going to talk too much about him. I'll spend more time on the third guy just because it's all the same reasons. He's skating on this first unit with Nathan McKinnon. He's incredibly cheap on both sides. Makes for an awesome value play. Probably my top value play as of right now, as of noon. Because he's also getting that first unit power play run as well, which is a super valuable spot. This 5th spot on the Colorado first unit power play has always sort of been in flux. We've seen Tyson Yost up there. We've seen JT Compher up there. We've seen Kerfoot up there before. So Kerfoot's up there right now, and with that 5v5 exposure and the 5v4 exposure, that's a guy I want a lot of exposure to myself. And then lastly, Rickard Rakell is just too cheap at 4.5K. Still leading Anaheim in iCourse 4 per 60. It sucks that he's not skating with Ryan Getzlaf. I kind of wish he was on this top line because this was the top line that they set out this season to play. Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry, and Rickard Rakell. Unfortunately, they've just been so injured, first Corey Perry, then Getzlaf, that they haven't really been able to put this together. But I do think if Arizona jumps out here and scores a couple goals, we could see them go back to their expected top line with Rakell up here. But regardless, I like him on the second line as well because he correlates on a first unit power play. I guess it's power play 1A and 1B, so it could go either way. But the fact that he's getting power play time, 4.5K, shoots the puck a ton in a great matchup versus Arizona, that's enough for me to play him at 4.5K. Moving on to defense, again, I'm going to skip over these high-priced guys, not because there aren't options here, but because I know you guys like it when I talk more about the values, and there's a couple values that I really want to get to. The first guy, not a total value, may even be chalk, but Justin Schultz. I just want to remind you guys, Chris Letang remains out. So Justin Schultz steps into this really cushy role on the first unit power play with Crosby, Letang, Gensel, Kessel, all the amazing players on Pittsburgh. He's going to quarterback that power play as well as get an increase of maybe 4 to 5 minutes at 5v5. So you could set his minutes floor at about 25 minutes, and getting that at 4.6K with upside for 30 minutes in a great matchup. Pittsburgh projected for 3.8 goals, and Florida's just been giving them up. They lost to Ottawa at home in their last game, so just been struggling. I think Pittsburgh's in the spot to take advantage of that. And then scrolling down a little bit farther, a guy that I don't think is going to be very owned at all is Brendan Gould. Traded over from Buffalo, I believe, to Anaheim earlier in the year. And the only reason I actually know that he's in play, because I wouldn't have looked for this prior to, I was actually just watching the Anaheim game, and I saw that they were using Brendan Gould on that first unit power play. Again, it's 1A, 1B. So take it with a grain of salt as far as who's going to, this power play unit will probably start out there. And Gould being the quarterback for this unit is really, really interesting considering he's 3K. He gives you a real high shot on goal plus block shot upside. As you can see, past 4 games, 5, 1, 3, and 4 shots on goal, which for 3K is stellar. And then he's blocked a shot in every single one of those games, multiple in his last game. So a real nice spot for him. I think he's going to play anywhere from 20 to 24 minutes as we've seen in back-to-back games. And since he checks all those boxes, I would certainly be willing to plug him into my lineup at 3K. Moving on to goalie, as always. Just correlate your goalie with the rest of your team so that if your team does well, as in your skaters, they score goals and get assists, then since your goalie will be correlated with them, ideally he will get the win. So that should really be it. And with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please do leave a like and comment. It really means a lot. I hope you guys win a ton of money tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.